It's the 23rd day of December 2021. Welcome to the Day Weather Podcast. Well, here we are, just a couple days before Christmas. And for some of you folks, well, you're going to get a white Christmas. Some of you will not. Mountain snows are beginning to commence. It's going to continue to be windy and mild on the plains. We have a slow-moving Pacific trough that is making its progress slowly to the southeast. I mean, ever so slowly, just like a slug. It's just moving along. This weather pattern change so slow to develop, but it is developing. Heavy mountain snows are coming off and on over the next week to 10 days. As we mentioned yesterday, the amount of snow will be in feet. We've already seen that in the Sierra Nevada, and we're going to see feet of snow in many of the mountains of the Intermountain West between now and New Year's Day. This is going to lead to travel problems for some. We really expect tonight, around or after dark especially, along Interstate 80 in Wyoming, along I-70 in the mountains of Colorado, along I-15 in Utah, I-80 all the way across into Nevada and California, and all of the higher elevation roads and highways in the west. That's where you're going to run into problems. It'll be windy and mild along and east of the Continental Divide again. Temperatures slowly cool off east of the divide. It's going to be a slow, methodical process, but temperatures are peaking today. But it's going to be a very gradual slope downward of temperatures east of the Continental Divide. Especially this will be true for eastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, western Kansas, and eastern Colorado. All areas. It'll be a bunch colder by next week. This is the current snow and ice map. The blue shows where there's snow on the ground. The orange shows where there's solid ice cover. So these parts of North America that I'm showing you right now have snow on the ground. So technically you could say that these areas are going to have a white Christmas if you use the mantra that snow on the ground on Christmas Day is a white Christmas. Now, snow falling on Christmas Day is a bit of a different story. But those are the areas best suited. Now let's take a look at what happens though over the next 48 hours. Today, we have a big area of high pressure that's just going to stay there west of Alaska and British Columbia, causing this dip in the jet stream. But the westerly flow across the country, look at this westerly flow again, that phase 1 La Nina, this continues to pump in mild air across the United States. But this little guy right here gets ejected tonight and heads right across southern Wyoming and northern Colorado. This is why I-70 and I-80 going to get picked on with this wave right here, because this wave has a lot of Pacific moisture with it, and it's going to get interjected with some colder Canadian air as it comes through. Here are the winter storm watches and advisories for the west. Pink shows winter storm warnings. Blue shows winter weather advisories. The brown areas here show high wind warnings. You can see that the mountains of Colorado, the I-80 corridor of Wyoming, the western mountains of Wyoming, into the front range areas of the Wasatch Front of Utah, even down here into northern Arizona. Then you can see the high mountains of California and the high mountains of Washington and Oregon and Idaho and western Montana, all in some type of winter weather advisory. That's why if you're going to travel anywhere west of this line, you're going to run into travel problems later today, tonight, and off and on through Christmas weekend. Now, this is the precipitation forecast through Saturday afternoon. It looks very similar to the maps we showed you yesterday. You can see the very, very heavy snows that are going to fall. So we're looking at water equivalent of 1 to 2.5 inches of water if you were to melt the snow down. So that equates to 1 to 3 feet of snow in the mountains easy. And notice the darker green from about Cheyenne all the way to the Utah line into Salt Lake and along the Wasatch Front, then I-70 here in Colorado, the mountain passes like Rabbit Ears Pass, all of those areas, the western mountains of Wyoming, Yellowstone Park, Jackson Hole, all going to get into the mix over the next 36 to 72 hours. Now, we talked about this little tail of moisture getting pushed out along the front range of southeastern Wyoming and northern Colorado. This area has got an outside chance of a white Christmas, at least snow showers falling, but temperatures are still going to be mild enough east of the front range areas that it may be snow shower activity that doesn't stick. But we're looking at maybe this area here on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day having a chance of snow showers. So don't give up hope yet along the front range of southeastern Wyoming and northern Colorado. You could still end up with something coming through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. along and north of I-90 here, up into Montana and the Dakotas. In that colder air, it's going to snow a little bit easier up there. And this is what the snowfall forecast looks like through Saturday afternoon. So if you were to say, close in, who are going to have the best chance? What area is going to be having the best chance of a white Christmas, either snow falling on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or having snow on the ground? The gray shade shows the lightest chances, the least amount of a chance. But as you get into the blue and the pinks, obviously, your chances are going way up. And if you were to look for the North American area for the United States, this is a forecast for snow falling on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So this would be new snow falling between now and Christmas afternoon. So anywhere you see the gray or the blue there, that's where those chances are going to be highest for a white Christmas. Now, as we get into Friday, the trough starts to nudge a little bit more southeast ever so slowly. By next Wednesday, notice how it settles in. That's going to settle in the really cold air, keep that cold, moist air from the Pacific over the mountains of the west, and keep the snow going. These are temperatures relative to normal by midnight Tuesday night. By midnight Tuesday night, the Arctic air gets to the I-70 corridor. It's well entrenched across the northern Rockies into the Great Basin. Look at these temperatures in California. Brr for those folks, and really cold into the interior west as well. For folks in Montana, northern Wyoming, along and north of I-70, I-90, where you see purple, you're going to go below zero. It's just going to go below zero into those areas there. The question will be how far that penetration of those purple colors get in the coming days by late next week and towards New Year's weekend. Over the next 15 days, this is the precipitation forecast. Significant western snows continue even into Old Mexico, into California and the West Coast. Then it's going to get wet and stormy in the Great Lakes, in the Midwest. This snow hole here, even though there's some precipitation there, it's still the least amount of precipitation anywhere in North America is in this area right here, so that continues. If you were to look at the 15-day precipitation anomaly, green and blue shows the above normal amounts of precipitation that will fall. So, as we have been talking about all week, that continues to be the case where the mountains get the bigger snows. We're also going to see some pretty good snows in the Great Lakes. And up here in the northern plains, that snowpack is going to build up over North Dakota, eastern Montana, the Arrowhead of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and into the upper Great Lakes. And there you can see it. This is the 15-day snowfall forecast. So we're going to put a lot of snow on the ground up here. And as the Arctic air expands and grows and goes over the snowfield, that makes the penetration further south of the Arctic air an easier proposition as we ring in the new year. We will have an update for you Christmas Eve morning tomorrow. So stay tuned for an update. We'll take a closer look at the weekend and next week's weather.